In this video, we'll work on Ruth chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. But first I want to go back and correct that comment that I made. This one here. Okay, layer 2, row 40. Layer 2, row 40. Yeah, that shouldn't be I was walking. We want something with where like you were walking. So we'll say here. Okay. Now we're ready to work on verse 3. To wash a body part. Nettie washed her hands with water. So there's an instrument noun phrase that uses the preposition with. Generated text is identical. Generated text is identical. Put on. Okay, first let's edit this. This should be put and on as a modifier. And put your shoes on. So this is one of those prepositions that gets moved into the object noun phrase. Put your shoes on. Put them on. Have put is putting puts. Okay, you've just entered a new constituent into verb phrases called verb with preposition. Do you want to edit your first verb phrase for a structure rule? We'll say no. And the theta grid adjustment rule. The person put gloves on his hand. So there's a destination noun phrase, but in English it doesn't take a preposition. That person put gloves on his hand. Okay, that on comes from put. That person put gloves on. So his hand is a destination noun phrase. We'll say it's an oblique without a preposition. Generated text is identical. Text is identical. Text is identical. Generated text is identical. Okay, and Boaz will drink wine, and he'll drink. Okay, this noun phrase, this patient, is tagged as an implicit argument. So similar to what we did with eat, when drink takes an implicit patient, we'll delete it. So let's copy the structure. Okay, so right now there's one structure. We're at structure 1 of 1. Are you sure you want to make a copy? Yes. Now we're at structure 2 of 2, and on this one, we put the more specific one in the back, and we'll say optional, or we'll say implicit argument. So when there's an implicit argument, we will delete this. We'll delete that noun phrase. And Boaz will drink and he'll drink. That's fine. Wait for Boaz and he will finish drinking. Wait for Boaz to finish eating and finish drinking. Okay, this wait, this is to wait for something to happen. Wait for Boaz. Okay, we want to finish eating. Okay, eat was deleted by the spell out rule layer 2, row 10. Okay, this verb, target tense and form, is a to infinitive. So we want completive aspect with to infinitive. Layer 2, row 10, layer 2. Okay, so completive aspect, we have past tenses, we have present tense, we have future. Okay, we don't have a to infinitive with completive aspect, so let's make a copy of this row. Okay, we don't need that. This will be a to infinitive and completive aspect. Okay, for this we don't need this. Okay, so we want this to be to finish. To finish plus a participle, to finish eating. Wait for Boaz to finish eating and he will finish drinking. Okay, when wait and he will finish, when wait has two object complements, okay, this is not very rare, but unusual to have two object complements. So wait here has two object complements, and we want the second one. This shouldn't be a to infinitive. This would just be a bare stem infinitive. Wait for Boaz to finish eating and finish drinking. Okay, so we need to say when wait. Here, I want to mention one thing. When there are two object complements like this, there's a feature called sequence, and this one is tagged as first coordinate, and this one is tagged as last coordinate. So let's go to the data grid adjustment rule for wait. Okay. Let's add another structure that has two complement clauses. So right now we're at structure 1 of 1. Copy the structure. Yes. Right now we're at structure 2 of 2. We want all of this to still apply, but now we want to add another subordinate clause, and we want a noun phrase in there with a verb phrase. And we want a noun in here and a verb. And let's tag these. So this will be the first coordinate. Okay, first coordinate right there, sequence. And this one will be another object complement, and the sequence value will be last coordinate. Okay, wait for Boaz to finish eating and finish drinking. So this one, we want here another big pro. We don't want to mention Boaz or he or anything like that. Okay, now this needs to be the object, the agent. There's the agent. Okay, so this agent noun will be marked as big pro, and this verb will be a bare stem infinitive. Let's give that a try. Wait for Boaz to finish eating and... Okay, what happened here? Drink was deleted by layer 2, row 10, same one. Okay, now this one, okay, it's set to bare stem infinitive and completive. So we don't have a row for bare stem infinitive. Okay, so just like we added this for to infinitive, let's add another row for bare stem infinitive. So this will be a bare stem, infinitive, and completive. Okay, so here we don't want the to, just finish drinking. Okay, generated text is identical. That's the last sentence. He will eat and will drink. He will eat and drink. Okay, this is better. So when we combine two short, simple sentences and they're both future tense, we don't need to mark the second one as future. So let's see. Okay, these were combined by structure 1. So this one, okay, let's add a comment here. Okay, this structure has two subject-noun phrases. Okay. Okay, we want to make a copy of this one and tag them both as future tense. So let's say, okay, right now we're on structure 1 out of 5. Copy the structure. Now we're in structure 2 out of 6. So let's add a verb phrase into each of these. And we'll insert a verb. And both of these are future tense. Okay, this one. Okay, these are sentences. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are sentences 6 and 7. Okay, now in this one, we don't want it to be marked as future. So we want to mark this as, I guess, a bare stem infinitive. He will eat and drink. We'll try that. Generated text is identical. Let's save it and go to verse 4. Okay, lie down. Let's edit this. Okay, lie down. Down is a modifier. Okay. We already did this, but I didn't move the modifier back then. He has lain down. He is lying down. And he lies down. Okay, and the theta grid adjustment rule. We won't need this. And the theta grid adjustment rule for this. When Boaz will lie down, carefully watch him so that you can see the place where he is lying. When Boaz lies down, watch him carefully. Carefully watch him. Either one is fine. Adverbs move around a lot. Let's see, carefully. Okay, we've set carefully to pre-verbal. which is fine. Let's see, have we used this anywhere else in the book of Ruth? Okay, Ruth, no, it only occurs once in the book of Ruth. Let's go ahead and change carefully to clause final. Okay, when Boaz lies down. When Boaz will lie down. Okay, normally in a one clause, if it's future tense, we won't say will. When Boaz lies down, we would use the present tense. And we've seen some other rules like this as well. If we go down here, okay, if a temporal until clause is future, you set it to bare stem infinitive. Here we want to set it to present tense. When Boaz lies down. Let's add a row and say if it's future, and this is a temporal when clause, right there. Okay, we want present tense, not a bare stem infinitive. When Boaz lies down, we don't need all of that. When Boaz lies down. And it makes me wonder, okay, here, I swear to the Lord that I'll stay with you until I die. If this were he, until he dies. Yeah, we want these to be present tense, until he dies. And this one, whenever you become thirsty. Whenever he becomes thirsty. So if this were he, third singular, we want present tense. Okay, that makes more sense. Whenever he becomes thirsty. Okay, let's give that a try. Generated text is identical. Generated text is identical. Lift. God lifted Jesus from the earth to the sky. And lift the blanket that is on Boaz's feet, that's fine. On his feet, that's fine. Text is identical. Text is identical. Then he'll tell you to do certain things. Then Boaz will tell you to do certain things. That's fine. That's the last sentence. Okay, then he will tell you. Then he'll tell you. Okay, we need another contraction rule. Let's copy this one. Okay, there's a leading space there. You want to keep that. So he will, and there's a space after that. And then we want to change this to heal. Okay, we don't want all this. Where is it? Then heal. Okay. Generated text is identical. Let's save it, and we're ready for verse 5.